Well, next this evening, a grieving sister is urging the government to change the law so that any vehicles carrying people with special needs have seatbelts with alarms fitted.
Donna Pierce's brother Billy, who had Down syndrome, died when the minibus he was travelling in crashed. Those around him didn't notice that he'd undone his seatbelt.
Her call comes as Humberside Police begins a month-long campaign to highlight the dangers of not wearing a seatbelt or making sure children have the proper restraints in place. Michael Billington has been out on patrol with officers.
A lorry driver's pulled over by traffic officers from Humberside Police.
Hello driver, how are you doing? All right.
His offence might not be considered the most serious.
There's only a reason for you not wearing a seatbelt.
But it's one which could end his life.
I've seen lorry drivers go through that windscreen as much as anybody else, so it really is for your own protection.
This one of Humberside Police's extra patrols, as this month they tried to cut deaths and serious injuries caused by people not wearing seatbelts. It's something these officers see all too often.
Over the years we've seen, unfortunately, hundreds, probably thousands of crashes, and on a number of occasions I can recall that I'd be 90%, 99% certain that had that person worn the seatbelt, they would be alive and with us today, and that's not the case.
Every year, 370 deaths and 7,000 serious injuries could be prevented if drivers and passengers wore seatbelts or child restraints. But only 85% of people in the front and only half of those in the back of vehicles are still belting up.
A surgeon walked in and he just said, "We're really, really sorry to tell you that Billy's not going to make it. He's not going to make it through the day."
Donna Pierce lost her brother in 2013. It's thought Billy, who had Down syndrome, may have removed his belt before the minibus he was in had to brake suddenly. He was thrown to the floor and died 4 days later.
To lose him like that was just horrendous. It was just, awful.
Donna's now campaigning for alarms which detect whether a belt is fastened to be made compulsory in all vehicles.
Just something where children and vulnerable adults are being transported, just to get those alarms fitted and made compulsory, like a driver's seat, because from last year that law was changed, to make that compulsory. We just want the others to be compulsory too, so it doesn't happen to anybody else.
Extra police teams will be out on patrol for the rest of the month right across East Yorkshire and Northern Lincolnshire, hoping to catch those drivers committing crimes and putting their own lives at risk. Michael Billington, ITV News in Hull.
Well, lots of you have been talking about this on our Facebook page today.
Yes, you certainly have. Charlotte Mason says, "My car doesn't move till everyone is belted up. It's my responsibility as the driver. Anyone who drives without a seatbelt or as a passenger is stupid."
Kath says the only way to get everyone to belt up is big fines.
But Sue Corfu Robinson, she disagrees. She says, forget big fines. Advertising works. Drum it in and make it reality.
The next one's from Dawn. She says, "I always wear one, even in the back of the car, for fear of crushing the driver or front passenger." Well, we thank you for all your comments. Remember, you can join in our conversation. Log on to Facebook and search for Calendar News.
Well, more of the day's news now, and police in Withensea have named a woman who was murdered in the town over the weekend.